Welcome. In this video, we will discuss about the Maritime Vision 2030. So the idea behind this vision is how we can boost the maritime domain, how we can interlink the ports to the hinterland, as well as what are the other places where there is a scope for improvement in order to make maritime a major means of transportation for India. So Maritime Vision 2030 envisages everything which comes under this. So in this video we will discuss about the recent happening as well as what are the major goals within this vision. So let's begin. So the first thing that we need to know is that the recently Union Minister of State for Shipping has inaugurated the direct port entry facility of Chidambarner Port Trust. So basically this is the trust which has started the development and the direct port entry was inaugurated. So that is why the whole thing was in news, because direct port entry is also one of the component of the Maritime Vision 2030. The state-of-the-art DP facility is created inside the truck parking terminal, which was developed under the Sagarmala for issuing custom clearance of export cargo. So for export cargo, there you required a custom clearance in order to be shipped. So that particular thing is done through the this particular truck parking terminal, and now when the direct port entry facility has been developed, it will make the whole process more streamlined and smooth. The IT-enabled infrastructure at the ports will make Indian ports world-class ports, aligning with the Maritime Vision 2030 of the Ministry of Shipping. So this is the entire background. Because of this vision was in news. You need to remember a few details about it. Is that first of all, what is Sagarmala? Sagarmala was one of the initiative which was started to create ports like the Bharatmala. It was with the like the Bharatmala was with terms of how the entire country is connected by road. The Sagarmala was the counterpart in terms of how the ports and maritime infrastructure is created. So it is also one of the part under the Sagarmala initiative, and in fact the vision is going to supersede the Sagarmala initiative. In the upcoming slide we will discuss about this vision in more detail. So let's begin. First, but before we go over there, let's also try to understand what is the significance of this move, the direct port entry, what kind of benefit now this is going to give to India. So first of all, it will reduce the logistic cost and increase the velocity of the cargo. So now if the clearance process is easier or is more streamlined, definitely it is going to make the whole process fast, as well as it will also reduce the logistic cost, the kind of cost you would have to incur if you have to keep your things in store if the clearance is taking more time. So this is the major benefit which is going to be there with this recent inauguration. It will enable direct movement of containers from factories without intermediate handling at any countrywide station on a 24/7 basis. So again, this is something which is like it will be a 24/7 facility, as well as it will allow the direct movement without any handling required at the freight station. So again, making the whole process more seamless. It will help in increasing ease of doing business for the exporter, as the facility will bring efficiency and reduce dwell time, lower tariff cost, and improve the competitors of shipping in international trade. So basically the overall idea of ease of doing business. Now this is the homework for you. Go ahead and check the World Bank Ease of Doing Business Index and check on what parameter they use to measure the entire ease of doing business within a country. So go ahead and check this out. So this particular like inauguration of direct port entry facility will also help in ease of doing business for the exporter, for the shippers who are going to ship their goods to the international market. It will make it more competitive because the cost at the source is getting reduced. So this is the major significance. Now let's just quickly jump and try to understand what the mission was all about. So first of all, it is a 10-year blueprint for the maritime sector. Why? Because we are in 2020. If we are discussing about the plan till 2030. So it is a 10-year blueprint for the maritime sector, which will be released by the Prime Minister of India at the Maritime India Summit in the November. So this is something which will, the nitty-gritty of the mission will be like inaugurated or will be announced in the November. It will supersede the Sagarmala initiative as already mentioned and aim to boost waterways, give a fillip to shipbuilding industry, and encourage cruise tourism in India. So it will have threefold vision, which is like to boost the waterways so that to allow the inland waterway transportation, give a fillip to the shipbuilding industry so that more and more ship could be built and the employment could be generated, economy could be streamlined over there, and then finally to also encourage the cruise tourism, because shipbuilding industry will be directly linked to the cruise tourism, and because if there is more demand for cruise tourism, there will be more demand for shipbuilding as well. So these are the three major goal for this mission. Apart from that, these are the basic details which has been provided so far. So it will have a maritime development fund which will be of around 25,000 crore. It will provide low cost long tenure financing to the sector, with center contributing 2,500 crore over 7 years. So this is the plan. This is the major fund through which they are going to start. But the 25,000 crore will not be directly funded by the center, but there will be other kind of mechanism involved, and center will provide 2,500 crore funding as kind of a seed funding you can consider. Then there will be a port regulatory authority. A pan-India port authority will be set up under the new Indian Port Acts to replace the old Indian Ports Act of 1908 for enabling oversight across major and non-major ports. So India has around 13 major ports. Go ahead and in your geography atlas you can check for them. So this particular port regulatory authority will have the regulation authority or oversight over the major port as well as the non-major port as well. It will enhance the institutional coverage and provide for structured growth of port sector to boost investor confidence. So the whole, like the ambit in which this regulatory authority is going to work is to check what kind of functionality could make it more easier for investor to start investing in the port development. So that is one thing you need to know. Then there is going to be an Eastern Waterways Connectivity Transport Grid project. So it will aim to develop regional connectivity with Bangladesh, Nepal, Bhutan and Myanmar. So Eastern Waterways, so we have a river system which flows towards the Bangladesh majorly, but even we have the waterways going towards the border of Myanmar, Nepal and even the Bhutan. So these countries, if we can find out a grid of transport using the waterways, so these kind of things will be explored in the Eastern Waterways. Then the Riverine Development Fund. It calls for expanding low-cost, long-term financing for inland vessel with the support of a riverine development fund. So this will be like providing the long-term funding for the riverine development, the overall river area which is like surrounded by it. For the development of that particular area, a separate fund by the name of Riverine Development Fund is also envisioned. Then rationalization of port charges. It will make them more competitive beside doing away with all hidden charges levied by the ship liners to bring more transparency. So one of the problem with the customs, with the ship maritime industry and the charges levied over there is because there is a lot of opacity involved over there. So there is a goal or a point which is mentioned over there, which is rationalization of port charges, where the hidden charges would be removed and hence the port charges would become more competitive. And finally, there will be a promotion of water transport for decongestion of urban areas and developing waterways as an alternative means of urban transport. So if you have seen the Venice and Italy, they have the inland waterway where they're like the river is flowing or the streams are flowing and the boats are people use for the transportation. Such kind of inland transportation is also something which is envisioned within this vision document. So these are the main thing in which the maritime sector is going to boost up in the upcoming 10 years. So this is the whole 10-year long-term financing plan, as well as a few of the touch points, a few of the pain points which are present in the maritime sector as of today would be tackled through this particular document. So these are the major thing you need to know. I hope you have understood this video. If you have any doubt, feel free to drop a comment. Thank you.